Hey fellow motorists, this is Steve here. I'm here with Luxor. Luxor is a 2003 Mini Cooper S R53. Because it's an R53, he does have a supercharger. Luxor has over 102,000 miles. I actually just turned over 100,000 miles about a month ago during a run up to Lititz, Pennsylvania. Today I want to show you how to clean and maintain an oil catch can. An oil catch can basically catches the oil or an oil sludge combination from entering into the tubing, the intercooler in your engine, thus decreasing the horsepower. Luxor is equipped with the Alta brand oil catch can. I went with the Alta brand oil catch can because of several reasons. One of them being it's easy to install, it's light, it's easy to maintain and clean, and it is relatively inexpensive option to add to your Mini. This particular oil catch can that I'm going to show you from Alta runs in the neighborhood of $100 to $150. I do not race Luxor, however I did decide to get the oil catch can for peace of mind and because of the engine modifications that I made to Luxor. What I'm going to show you today is again how to clean this particular oil catch can and where I mounted it. Hopefully you'll enjoy this video, and you know, it's again, like I said, it's relatively easy and it's a great investment to extend the life of your engine. Okay, so let's get started and enjoy. Okay, so here we are. We're looking under the bonnet of Luxor. So the first thing I wanted to do before we get started with cleaning the oil catch can is to show you where I mounted the catch can. When you get the directions with the oil catch can, they give you two options, or they recommend two options for mounting. The first place they recommend is right here. You'll see we have a ground bolt. The reason why I did not go with this particular mounting option, which actually was where I wanted to do it, is because as you can see here, this bolt is not actually centered between these two sections, and because of that I couldn't mount it here because it wouldn't fit. So what I did is I went with their second option, and that's right back here. It actually fits pretty well. It's fairly easy to get to and maintain. So the next steps we want to do is actually show you how to remove it and unplug it, and then we'll proceed with the cleaning. Okay, so now it's time to remove the catch can. In order to do this one, I'm going to use two tools, an 11mm wrench and a 11mm small socket. Okay. One thing to keep in mind, if I remember when I purchased this catch can, is that the bolt that I have holding or mounting the catch can with did not come with the catch can, so just keep that in mind when you make your purchase. You'll probably want to wait to get it so you know what size bolt to get. In this case, I have a pretty short bolt because you only need to go through basically that much wall. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Be careful not to lose your bolt. As you probably know, if you did install your own catch can, you know that even though it does fit pretty well here, you'll probably need to just move it around, twist it just to get it out. Okay. So there's the catch can. So two things before I continue. One is that as you can see, there's actually two tubes going into the catch can. We need to disconnect those in order to continue with the cleaning. One thing you want to make sure though is you remember or somehow keep track of the orientation of these tubes. So this is the front one. I'm going to go ahead and take this one out and put that to the left, and then the back one here will face that way. Okay, so here's the catch can. You know, like I said, it's pretty simple. If you actually see here, you can actually see some liquid. Okay, you see some liquid in there. Again, that's that oil sludge that's in there. This is probably the second or third time that I've actually changed this catch can. It's been probably about I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6 months since I've changed it, so it feels pretty heavy. We'll have to open up and see what's in here. Okay, here we are. We have with the catch can here. We're ready to take it apart and drain it. There's actually two ways to drain the oil catch can, and I'll show you both. In order to do this, I have basically two tools: a 3/16 Allen wrench and a 8mm socket. Okay. So the nice thing about the catch can, and it also really depends on how you have it installed. If you have it installed the way I have it, then you'll actually see at the bottom there's a little drain plug, kind of like your oil pan, and basically you can drain the oil from the catch can this way. In this case, I'll use the 3/16 Allen wrench, and we'll see how much stuff actually comes out of here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and drain this and see what we get. As you can see, it's there is some oil in here, but it's not. It doesn't look like it appear to be a lot. It looks like mostly liquid. So let's see what we got here. So this is about how much I was able to get out just by using the drain plug. But I do want to show you how to take it apart as well, because that particularly since it's been probably 5 to 6 months since I've changed this, I do want to show you how I do want to get in there and see what else, what other sludge is in there. So what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and put the plug back in. Okay, make sure that's tight. Okay, and then next I want to show you how to actually take it apart, because it still feels heavy, and there's actually so there may actually be some thicker sludge in there. Okay, so how to take it apart. Basically, the first thing you want to do before you take it apart is you need to unplug this tubing. Okay, so the way to take this tube out is you actually push the green button in, and at the same time pull the tube out. And you'll do the same for the bottom one. Push the green button in and pull the tube out. Okay. The next step for taking the catch can apart is I'm going to take my 8mm socket and I'm going to undo the clamps. Now you should be able to get away with doing the top clamp, but it depends on how much stuff is in here, so we'll see. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and that down, and then we're going to go ahead and let's see if we can turn this top off. The other thing to keep in mind is you notice that because of the plastic tube that these should line up together, because when you put it back together, the tube will line up. If you obviously don't want to have one end pointing one way and the other one pointing the other way. Okay, so it should easily just snap out. Okay, so that's what the inside, I probably can't see it, but the inside is actually filled with this foam stringy stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, put this aside, and I'm get some extra paper towel here because I'm going to have to wring this oil out. But I want to take it out just to show you what it looks like before we wring it. So okay, let's see what else, a little bit left, not much. Okay, so that's what the inside of the catch can looks like. If you see the way I have it oriented, the right item there, the right thing is the plug, and the smaller hole is actually the hole for the bottom of the tube. So okay. This is basically helps capture all the oil. Like I said, it's a bunch of stringy foam, and we're just going to wring this out. Okay, and then when you wring it out here, you basically have foamy stringy stuff. So so that's pretty much how you clean it. Now I'm going to put it back together. We're just going to do follow the steps in reverse order. You basically just put the foam back in, like so. Okay. You can put the cap back into the catch can. That should snap in just like this. Okay. Again, make sure your tube outlets and your inlets line up. So, and you can always make a little bit of adjustment, but as you can see, we're lined up here. And you want to keep it. Try to keep it in the same orientation as when you took it apart, because when you install the entire catch can back into the car, you got to make sure that you're going to have enough clearance. Okay, so I think this looks good. Let's go ahead and tighten the clamp back up with our 8mm socket. The lid's on tight. Okay, make sure it's lined up so it looks decent here. Okay, so there it is, and then we're going to go ahead and insert the piping again. Basically, the piping is just as simple. There's nothing to tighten or anything. Just push it in. Make sure to seat it all the way in until you can pull it. And remember, I told you earlier, as you pull on it, the harder you pull, the tighter the lock is. And then you just do the same for the bottom as well. Okay, so we have a good, nice tight seal. So there it is. That's the catch can put back together again. Okay, so we've just completed the cleaning of the catch can. As you can see, I got a lot of liquid out of it. Keep in mind that what you see in your container here is basically what could have ended up in your engine, your intercooler, the tubing, etc. So that's quite a bit. That's about, like I said, it's about 5 to 6 months of yuck. So I guess really the next step now is to go ahead and reinstall the catch can into the Mini. You install it the same way you took it out. So I'm going to go ahead and first attach my tubing. Again, remember, make sure you have the right, you keep the same orientation of the tubing. So in this case, I had my left going to the front and my right going to the back. And with a little twist here, we'll line up the bracket with the mounting hole and attach the bolt. And screw that back on. Okay. And there you go. Okay, well, basically that's how you change the Alta Oil Catch Can in a 2003 Mini Cooper S. Hopefully it's the same or pretty close to the same as if you have a newer Mini. I hope you enjoyed this how-to video, and we'll see you next time. Motor on!